Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Monkey Flip Podcast. Before we get started with this podcast, we're going to show you this 25-minute production package of where we were before, what's happened earlier in the show. So bear with us there. That's a lie. We're not going to do that. We're doing that specifically to prove a point that it's not necessary to show a 15-minute fucking vignette in front of every match. If you've got a 3-hour show, if you're trying to fill time with that, then just cut the hours out of the show. Because really, it's fucking ridiculous. Which makes me think that they're putting that in there to say that we know people aren't fucking watching this thing. So if they tune in from nowhere, just catch it as like a cat stepped on the remote control, put it on USA Network, and they're like, well, what's going to happen with why are these guys fighting? It's like, oh, they're going to show me for 25 fucking minutes everything that's ever happened between these guys, even though it just happened last week. So, or in some cases, it just happened the night before the pay-per-view.
Okay, now do you have a problem with them before the match that's getting ready to occur for them to tell the story of, and not saying 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but a 3-minute segment of what led up to that match?
Well, when you think about it, if you go back to when the WWE was in its infancy when it came to a real show like Raw, I know you're going back to April in 1993, but when you look at that, they'll start the fucking match and they'll talk it through as the match is going on. Instead of calling every move, which isn't necessary, it doesn't matter that everybody knows a Hurricane Rana from a front chancery. Which you really should if you're a wrestling fan anyway. If you
and
don't,
most of
matter,
them,
right?
Most of the announcers anymore are wrong.
Yeah, that is like Excalibur.
Hurricane Rana, wait a minute. Is that the one where they grab the guy by his neck with his ankle and flips him over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the
generic
version of a Frankensteiner. Yeah.
Worst move ever.
But yeah, it's like they would start the match, get him in there, start the match, and then in the case of Raw, it was Vince and Randy Savage, I think was the first one, or Vince and whoever the color guy was. They would talk the story through while the guys were transitioning from move to move, and it worked out pretty well. You didn't have to sit there bored as fuck watching some shit that you may already know, because you can ignore them if you know the story and watch the match, and you'd still be okay. It's the same thing that happened with like Shotgun Saturday Night, when you go into the WCW stuff. Yeah. It's just they were really into just get the match started, get them out there, get them moving, everything's cool, and we'll talk through it as it goes. Hell, there was one WCW that I watched back during the match. Barry Windham came out to the announce table. They didn't put a camera on him. Barry Windham just did a promo. Yeah. No camera on him whatsoever. You just listen to the Barry Windham promo, and there's a match going on. Yeah. And that works so much better because you're not wasting our time. We don't have to sit around till 11 o'clock at night and watch pretty much last week's show back again.
There you go. Just once a year, do an actual clip show. And then we don't have to have the...
Like they used to?
Strike that.
You do not want that show.
I do not want that show. Let's not have the clip show.
Okay, but if we know it's a clip show, we don't have to watch.
That's true. That's the only saving grace of a clip show. We're like, oh, this is a clip show. Turn it off.
Yeah.
Right.
How I feel about that. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
how I feel about that is quit playing the fucking packages. Let the guys that aren't getting fucking TV some TV time.
That's true.
There's a fucking idea.
That's true. What's up?
We forgot about the lights.
Okay. Doesn't matter. We'll leave them on. Doesn't matter. Does it look really bad? Let's do it right now. Alexa, turn off living room lights. I'm going to leave that in the show.
That's what rich people do, by the way. I'm just saying.
That's right. That's what formerly rich people do. Yes. So, what do you think? Do you think anything about that, or you just don't give a fuck? I mean, I know they're trying to do UFC.
Didn't I say what I thought?
I don't know.
I thought it was okay if you just show that match and what's going on with that match.
Okay.
Before that match.
I think you talked about it when we were talking about the before meeting.
But I talked about it.
That's true, but we got to get it on the camera. You got to give the people what they want.
I think I did, because you brought it up.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, but are you okay with if they would just show what led up to this match?
Gotcha. Let's call a spade here, dude. I'm old. I got hit in the head a lot. I'm old.
You are old.
You got hit in the head a lot.
Downhill.
Hey, I'll be there one day.
Yeah?
I'll be old one day.
That's right. I'll be fucking dead when you're there, though.
Tomorrow, but I'll be there.
But yeah, really, for me and her, it's just basically a race to the end that I have to win. I have to die first, because my entire life, I have not washed a dish, fixed a meal, done any clothing, laundered any clothing. I want to be fucked. I'm going to be, imagine the year or two that it's going to take me being devastated that she's not here anymore. And then, like, okay, now I have to live.
Well, if I'm
How do
being
we do
completely
that?
honest, since the day I met her,
Yeah.
she was 65.
Okay.
She was always that, you didn't want to disappoint her. You know what I mean? You didn't want to upset her, so you just
like
kinda,
grandma.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want grandma to
She
know
was kind
about
of like grandma, and nothing to do with the age. It was just about, let's keep her happy.
So you should be proud of that.
Well, it's okay. I have a new hip, so I might as well be.
That's true. She does have a fake hip. It works out. She is grandma.
That's true.
That works. Awesome.
Damn, you had to get a new hip before I did, or him,
Yeah.
for that matter. What the fuck?
I was just talking about my hip, actually.
Yeah.
I was born with a bad one. Like I got a bunk deal from the beginning.
I didn't. I chose my bad.
Yeah,
one.
mine too.
I was a dumbass.
Yeah, I made mine bad.
Actually, it was Bill's fault. He had the idea to do it the first time, and I listened to him.
What'd I do?
The Foley elbow. That was right.
I told you to do the Foley elbow?
Absolutely.
Yo, absolutely. I was there for that conversation.
100%.
It's
He
funny.
was like, "Man, I need something impactful to make it." He was like, "Do the Foley elbow." Okay. Drunk
you
rock,
absolutely did.
Drunk
I
hammer.
know.
Of course, drunk
first-
hammer's
the-
gonna
the
do
first-
the elbow.
Full house
Yeah.
at the theater.
Yep, I remember that.
I bet you that I did it under the guise of he's not gonna fucking do that. There you go.
Yep.
You need something to do. It's impactful. Do that.
And I said, "What? Hold
And
my
you're like,
beer."
all right, fucking here.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Hey, hold my beer. I gotta go wrestle.
Awesome.
I remember. Yeah.
Awesome. Just realizing, looking
Good
here
time.
at the sheet of the shit we want to talk about, we took injuries off the list.
And they still
And that
ended
is a
up on the
perfect
list.
segue. Perfect segue that we lost there because I took it off the list thinking we can talk about it anytime. Well, we just fucking proved that, didn't we? Awesome. What's the next thing? Predictability of wrestling segments. What a fucking segue that is. It's a fucking segue from hell right there, bro. We're talking
The
about
predictability of how I'm going to walk in 15 years
Yeah.
after you tell me to do that move.
Jesus.
I will tell you this: the best I ever felt was right after I woke up from my hips and my hip surgery, and I'm not kidding. It was the best I ever felt in my life.
I do not doubt that.
Those
At
nurses,
all.
when she woke up, those nurses were like, "Oh, honey, are you okay?" And she's like fucking smiling.
Fuck yeah, she
She's
was.
like, I am
I would have been
good.
too.
And they're like, "Okay, we'll take your time." And she's like, "You don't understand. Before you did this, it was worse pain than after this surgery. where
Yeah.
They just took my bone, stuck it through the skin, hacked it off, drilled through it, stuck something in it. Much better than what I had before.
And
The
rebuilt
only
some
reason-
stuff.
The only reason she couldn't get up and walk around the entire floor was the medication made her queasy. So she's like, okay, I got to vomit. And they sat her back down thinking that it was from pain. It wasn't from pain. It was from the medication.
And
She's a
I-
lightweight
Shit's
when it
high
comes
as
to that.
fuck.
And I had,
She's a lightweight when it comes to that stuff.
and I hadn't eaten for 18 hours, so
Yeah,
I was
that-
extremely
really high as fuck.
dehydrated.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's not do the next thing. Let's go on with injuries. We all got something to talk about. I'm gonna contribute my injuries. I have a bulging disc that every once in a while I'll bend down, pet the dog, and that's where I'm staying for a long time. I'm only on the floor for a day.
a bad day.
I gotta crawl into bed and I gotta stay there. I can't get my back. If my back gets flat on something, I can't get up. I'm fucked. And the worst part about it is when it doesn't hurt, when there's nothing wrong, I can do anything that I ever could do. The problem is the next day. The next day I'm fucked. I go out and play basketball. The next day I'm like, oh yeah, that's tightened up really well. I jump around in the ring the other day. It was a while ago. Jumped around the ring the other day. Everything was good. The next day I'm like, oh my god. Then I got a spot in my rib cage that constantly hurts. This is why I'm going to die. I'm going to die of a heart attack because this almost constantly hurts. This edge of the chest wall here swells up because of the damage that I've taken, and it just feels like I've got a heart attack. And I have to place my hand like right here and grab my elbow and give it a push, and everything pops and shifts, and I feel a little better, but then it goes back. But I'm tired of going in and saying I got a chest pain, and they go, "Well, yeah, going to get hooked up to a heart attack machine right now." I'm okay, yeah, I'm a fat fuck. I get it. That's cool.
But you're not a fat fuck anymore.
Right.
Well, I am. It doesn't fool gravity. My knee. I've got a surgically repaired knee. I've twisted. I broke my foot one time. Walked on it for 6 months. Just like the only thing that got me to go to the doctor was, I can't feel my toes. That's bad. I went to the doctor and they said, sir, can you come in here? You've broken your foot.
You know what's funny is all that's happened to you since I've known you. Am I bad luck?
Yes. Yes. You're getting me back for the Foley elbow thing. That's the way that goes. So
What about you, Hank?
Let's see. The broken wrist you guys know about because that was at training before the show. doing too high and tried to take a crossbody from Fury, and I know you can't see it, but landed like this, ribs first. Yeah, that's
you mentioned that on the podcast not too long ago. I'm just wondering how Justin Fury was 102 pounds.
I know.
I'm saying that for you, Justin.
Ribs first. Ribs first, though.
Because you listen.
I had all his
but he
weight,
wasn't then.
Yeah.
But it was all his weight on my fingertips.
Yeah.
And it just snapped that bitch.
Oh, that's not where it goes.
No, at all. Let's see. Fuck. My nose. My.
What happened to your nose? Somebody break it?
That shit broke. Just didn't go get it fixed. Just.
Never had that happen to me.
Oh, yeah.
Actually.
It's not fun.
I bet. I mean, I've had it happen to me, but not in the ring, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Let's see. Tore my part of my quad in my right leg.
That sounds painful.
Never went and got it fixed. Thought I tore my ACL. Nope. It was
that in the ring?
Yeah.
What did you do? Did you sit down? Delegate?
Did you say delegate?
Yeah, like Vince did. You didn't tell people what to do?
No. I didn't even know it happened.
Damn it.
Didn't even know it happened. It just hurt.
It sounds like it.
Then I was at a show in Ohio and went to do a seated drop kick to the nuts in the corner and ended up bulging my disc, and now I have 2 bulging discs in my lumbar and sciatica and arthritis. And I found out when they did my MRI on my back and they found the bulging disc that I had fractured my back 3 times. Did I know? Yeah. They was like, that didn't hurt. I was like, I just thought I pulled a muscle. Took a week off and then back to wrestling. Minor shit, really.
Other than that,
My collarbone. I broke collarbone on both sides and separated shoulders.
Yeah,
same time.
Didn't you have a where you flattened out that curvature in your back?
Oh yeah, I have no curvature.
Yeah,
I have no curvature in my spine. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yep, completely fat.
Now we've talked
spine.
about Rob's injuries with the neck and stuff. Did we talk about that on the air? The problem that you had with? Well, we talked about Buster the Wicked Clown not getting up for the leapfrog. He ran into him head first into his crotch, and then he grabbed you and he goes, leapfrog.
I'll do it right this time.
I'll jump higher this time. And he did not.
He did not.
No.
He did not. But I didn't even know that was a bad thing until years later.
No.
I mean, it wasn't great that night.
You weren't happy that day. Yeah.
No, I wasn't happy that day.
Right.
That's it for me.
Really?
The neck and the knee. I mean, it both led to major surgeries, but I have a fake knee now, and the neck, it generally feels fine. Yeah. But nothing like all the crap. I quit at the right time, apparently.
Yeah, I've got big bones, and I'm not saying that to say I'm not a fat ass, because I am, but they're big, and I do less bone breakage and more cartilage. Like I tore my meniscus, that's why I had to have the knee repaired. I actually did that, and 9 years later got it repaired, because I was like, you know what, I'm not wrestling. I can take the convalescence time. I sit in a chair all day. Fuck it, I'm gonna go get this thing looked at. Finally, I went and got it looked at, and I said, I think there's a tear somewhere in there, and they took me sent me to a sports specialist, and he took pictures of it, and he goes, sure enough, there's a tear there. We need to go in and sew that up and then clean the rest of your knee out.
I got to see pictures of the inside of his knee.
Yeah. I got I call this injury my Vic Malibu. Like this thing, I was trying to teach these kids how to do a tag team match, and I'm pinning someone off of a body slam, and Vic Malibu thought, oh my God, he's so in trouble, I got to get in there and drop an elbow. Vic Malibu,
small guy.
He's a teeny guy of about 400 pounds. His head is so fucking massive it wouldn't fit on this table. It's like fucking huge, and he just drops an elbow.
Literally and figuratively.
I had no idea he was there, and he just dropped an elbow, hit me here. This ear touched like the outside of my bicep somehow, and I was just like, and I was too mad to be injured, so I got up and fucking bitched him out, and then it just turned into arthritis over here. So every once in a while, I can't turn any further this way, but this way I can just can't that way, and every once in a while when I try to sleep, it just starts acting up. It feels like I'm about to vomit because it hurts so bad. So yeah, but really other than that, I've got kind of lucky. The back, the knee, the foot, but everything hurts. Wrists, elbows.
I have that too, but I don't really.
Shoulders.
Means I don't have an injury. I don't say that. You know what I mean? I imagine I might feel the same way without wrestling. At my age. So because I don't know.
Dropped somebody on their head once.
Yeah.
One of my friends was trying to get in the wrestling business, got him in there, grabbed him up, and he said, drop me, and I dropped him.
I was there. You didn't really drop him on his head.
Well, I dropped him. He didn't tuck his chin like he's supposed to. He banged his head off the mat, and then later on that day, I was with him holding his spine board up for him so he could puke.
How's he now?
I don't know. I think he went to jail. I think he was selling drugs. I don't know.
Sounds like most of your friends.
I don't know for sure. Yeah, I keep questionable company.
You do. I've never sold drugs though. I just did them.
It's just like I'm not selling it.
Hey,
What are you talking about?
Selling shit.
Selling
I'm
this?
consuming.
That means I'd have to share.
It's like pie. You want to buy some of my pie? Well, I bought this pie for me. Then I actually saw another good friend. Yeah, he lost his career because he took a bump and banged his head and had a brain bleed. And Richie, you're from the I think you lost his career. I don't remember, but he had a brain bleed and almost.
I completely forgot.
Almost fucking died from that. I've seen people break their arm where it's fucking floating out weird like that. One dude I remember got dropped on his head and puked. Like if we went about the match, everything was cool, and then he's like, I had to puke. He lifted back the ring apron, puked, put it down, continued the match. Which on one hand, good job. On the other hand, maybe
He's not human.
maybe get some help there, bro. It's like you know, and you see it all the time in the WWE. Big E got dropped on his head. He didn't really drop it on his head. That shit happens. It looked like they both were kind of a little off on what was going to happen there. And you know, that dude's neck is fucking superior.
You break that neck.
Yeah.
In two places.
You done some shit.
I think the musculature around his neck holding up to his entire body weight being lawn jarred into the fucking concrete floor.
To be honest, his neck, because they showed it when I saw a meme on Facebook about breaking that neck. It reminded me of. Do you remember the skinny neck guy and the big neck guy doing that rap video together?
No, I don't know.
Somebody you do. Okay.
No, he doesn't.
You don't?
No.
None of you?
You get in the dark side of the internet, bro. you're out here like, you remember that time where that fly? And you're like, no, I don't fucking remember that at all. And you're like, come on.
Okay.
I
Well,
like
Mad
to,
at me
You know
because
what
I
I'm
haven't
watching?
seen it.
Yeah, I do get mad at you.
But
a
I'm
lot.
watching
You know,
on
I'm
YouTube
like, bro,
wrestling.
No, I'm like,
Jurassic
him.
Park stuff.
I do that at home.
It's like
Just so
sports
you know.
highlights.
Like,
That's
what
it.
the fuck?
I like
Sorry,
to keep
man.
my YouTube light or pimple popping. Like,
popping.
I like the
And you
funny
tell me
stuff.
that I'm more... Really?
Then I tell you.
You said
you're
I didn't tell you nothing. But no.
I say, I don't talk to you.
But no, correct. But you just tried to explain that, no, I'm more into... That's gross.
Pimple popping?
Pimple popping?
Yeah.
That's maybe gross, but I
You
cannot
watch
stand.
it?
Yes, I absolutely.
I watch a lot of shark videos too.
Shark videos
Yeah.
are cool. Yep.
You watch a lot of the magnet fishing.
I like magnet fishing is awesome. I kind of want to do it.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty
They've been
cool.
catching a
Did you
lot
watch
of
the one where
shit.
they pulled up them guns and
I've
the
seen
cops?
so
Yeah.
many. There was one that I watched where they were pulling up fucking mortar shells, live mortar shells.
Yep.
They had to call the bomb squad to explode them. It's
I
crazy.
remember that. Seen that one?
That guy.
Oh shit, we fucked up our entire list. What are we at?
No, he didn't. I'm still.
Still on the predictability or injuries.
Look at that neck.
Oh my god!
Right?
Wait, no, it's just two people sleeping in bed. What are you talking about?
Oh wait, that wasn't the neck. It was the neck at one point.
Thrilling video, by the way.
Podcasting.
I don't need this fucking condescension. Okay.
Hey, I'm the
That guy.
producer.
That dude's got a big neck.
That's a big fucking neck.
That is a
Now
huge
look at
neck.
his rap partner.
His rap partner.
Uh-oh.
It's
Yeah.
fucked up.
This is
'cause
riveting television, isn't it?
together, they've got just like
skinny neck,
one
thick
full neck.
You're letting me down here.
I'm letting you down. I
No,
ain't
you're
doing
not
shit.
letting me down. My phone's letting me down.
Well, while Rob is struggling desperately with technology,
Fuck off.
we keep talking about the predictability wrestling segments. I guess we went away from that. We went to injuries. We've talked
Daddy
about
Long Neck. That's his name.
Daddy Longneck.
Daddy Long
You
Neck.
had to look that up,
Leave me alone.
dude. You got to lay off the pipe. Forget about the predictability wrestling segments. Yeah, I know. We'll talk about it. It's like when you're watching something and you get because I think we mentioned it earlier. Referees are just horrible now. I mean, there's a few of them that are exemplary on the way. Daddy, this says battery may run out soon. What are you doing to me? Oh,
He does this to me too. If that makes you feel any better.
It don't make me feel any better.
This dude's got a shirt that says "All necks matter."
I told you. Right?
Wow. Dude, I can't do this. I ran into some South African rap once that completely and totally took over my life for a little bit.
Took him down the rabbit hole.
Wow. Okay, so the referees are just like fucking horrible now. I mean, they don't count when they're supposed to count. They don't check the shoulders before they start to count.
They don't check on the motherfucker if they're injured.
Yeah, they just let it go, and they're like, well, what do I do?
And they're left-handed sometimes.
If they move their legs, they count it as a kick out. They don't
Yeah,
have
they
to do
don't
anything
they don't
to the
pull their
shoulders.
shoulders off. I understand some of that, but and there are some exceptions. But there's been a rash of countouts in the WWE right now, and you can always tell when there's going to be a count out because when they're teasing the things where you get thrown out, and then they tease the count out. When you're watching and they're going 1, 2, okay, no count out. But when there's going to be a count out, even when the guy's going to get back in the ring, they're like 1, 2, 3, and then when I see that, it's like, oh, this is going to end in a count out, and it does. Sami Zayn versus fucking
Harding does that.
He does.
You can see it.
Yeah.
That
may actually be a directive.
Is that the left-hander?
No,
He's left-handed.
Jason
he
Harding.
left-handed?
Is he left-handed?
He's left-handed.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I've never liked him.
We'll keep saying Jason Harding to protect the innocent.
I love you, Jay.
But yeah, it's like even without the referees, like a backstage segment where they're going to fucking not even backstage in the ring. If you got an in the ring segment and somebody's getting interviewed, the only thing that exists for is for somebody to come out and start a new feud. Or interrupt and whatever. You just know what's going to happen. It's worthless. Every one of these in-ring contact signings is going to end with these two fighting over something, or some poor dude getting armbarred by a girl.
That whole segment was trash.
Yeah, I feel a little better about that because the girl's a judo champion and legit.
You know about Ronda?
Champion.
Yeah.
Legit judo champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't see it. What happened?
Drew Gulak.
I saw that. I saw the still picture of it.
She judo through, put him on the ground, had his arm, had the contract in her other.
The announcer guy.
Yeah. Had the contract in her other hand, and then asked him for a pin. He gave her a pin, and she armbarred him and signed the contract. Which the segment, okay, that's okay for a segment, but still, I mean, you're kind of shitting all over Gulak by letting the armbar just happen. Yeah. Because he's just laying there waiting for it to happen. Yeah. And he's a wrestler. He should know that the armbar is going to happen.
I bet he still hasn't washed that arm.
Like the elbows. Anyway. But yeah, it's just so predictable nowadays that it's hard to watch. AEW does a worse job than the WWE does. Even their backstage
I've never heard you say
sections,
words like that before.
Even in their backstage sections, they'll start off something. I'm just like, this is for interruptions. And the worst part about it is you can tell they're standing a foot off of the fucking camera,
right,
and just waiting to come in and interrupt. And I'm just like, okay, why don't you just start this feud a different way? And nobody ever gets through an interview segment, which kind of makes me feel like you're shitting on Tony Schiavone or whoever's back there. Marvez, shit on him, I don't care. Tony Schiavone and everybody that's back there trying.
Or you shit on Johnny Depp, apparently.
What's that?
I said, or you can shit on Johnny Depp, apparently.
Well,
or at least his pillow.
Shit on his pillow. Yeah. Yeah, you can hit him, but do not punch him.
Right. I wasn't beating on you. I was just punching you.
I wasn't punching you. You did not get punched. I was just hitting you like fucking that. Like whatever. Okay, cool. My favorite part of that whole thing is when they showed the video of him going off on the cabinet. We slammed the cabinet door and shit like that.
And then they're like, would you say you were violent that day? And he goes, yeah, I guess I assaulted a couple cabinets.
It was awesome. So yeah, predictability. Anybody else have anything to say on the predictability of wrestling segment? Or did I just fucking step on the whole thing? I stepped on the whole thing.
You did right, because you were right.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true. So I'm gonna.
Now, why you gotta say that's true? You arrogant son of a bitch!
You just said that I was right.
You gotta agree.
I did agree.
You don't have to agree, Bill.
I don't have to.
You don't have to agree.
But
he
you're
did.
Right. So I have to.
So you're telling me I'm right? So well, thank
See,
you.
that's not arrogance
you.
when other people say you're right.
Thank
That's
you. I
just
like being
knowing
right.
your skills. So I'm just going to mention this one and let you guys talk about it, which is the booking of Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn.
First off, the wrestling, we both know what they are. They're both good. You know, it'd be really hard for them to have a horrible match. So I don't care about that. I will say I'm impressed with the fact that Sami Zayn just walked into the middle of some shit saying, hey, you're the head of the table. He actually told him he was the head of the table.
Oh, Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Talking about, I might need some help.
Yeah.
Because, well, actually, it was funny because at first he's like, I can handle them on my own, but can you help me? So I thought that was funny. But he's like, and I got you. And then he walked away. He walked away, turning his back on them, not expecting to get jumped. You know, just he said what he had to say, and they listened. You know, so I was impressed with that. That's kind of a rare thing to do now in WWE. Usually he's going to get jumped, and then they would do what they're going to do afterwards. You know, even if it's help him, they're still going to jump him, which isn't necessary in that situation. So I was impressed with that.
I mean, I agree with everything that they are doing with that, but like you
so
guys,
he doesn't agree with everything they're doing with that.
Like you guys said, though, the wrestling, whatever, we know they can work, whatever. I agree the build-up is good. I mean, it was funny for him to escape the lumberjack match. Like, how many times do you see a motherfucker get out of a lumberjack match?
Through the crowd.
Yeah, he just walked out.
It's not like,
It's like, I'm done.
yeah, I'm out.
This.
Fuck it, I'm
In the
out.
cage, I was sitting there, and he was out in the crowd, and I
But I
looked
like
at
it.
Shannon.
I
I looked
do.
at Shannon. And I said, "Cage match next week," and she's like, "What?" And then he was
That I
like, "A
didn't
cage
love.
match next week." I'm like, "Told you." I guess
you
I'm too
contain 'em.
smart for that shit.
Oh, well, that's what we, if anything, that's all we ever say about you is that Hank dude.
Yeah,
Smart.
whatever. I'm
He's
not.
way too smart. That's what we always say in Neville. Always.
Is that the humble you're talking about? When
Yes.
You say, hey, this is a positive thing about you. You're like, no, it's not true. Okay, I get you. I get you. The only negative thing I can say about that is it just feels it's going
Rushed.
too fast. So like, slow it down a little bit. Let us savor it a little bit. And WWE, please stop the stipulation of you can escape the cage. You win if you escape the cage. It defeats the purpose of putting people inside a
disagree.
box. You got to escape. You can climb up the top and in. It's like the whole point of the cage is to keep the action in the cage. But if you get to get out of the cage, then you win. So anybody can just walk out the cage. It's bad sportsmanship. It's a bad thing there.
Would you mind if I say I disagree?
You can disagree all you want to. Doesn't mean you're right, but you can disagree.
No, he does
Knew
mean
that
I'm
was
right.
coming.
Okay.
And the reason I can say I'm right is because WrestleMania 2,
What about WrestleMania 2?
you loved it just like I did.
That was a long time ago. I don't remember what
it-
WrestleMania 2 was.
Hogan Bundy
Hogan
in the
Bundy.
old school blue cage.
Yep.
Okay. I don't.
How did you not love the fact that Hogan had to climb out of that cage before the... Never. Now I'm losing credibility right now. I quit.
I'm losing.
I'm losing my credibility.
brother. I'm going to lose my
But
credibility.
no, for real. That's what we grew up on.
Right.
So why is it that you hate that?
Because that's the... If you can escape
The steel cage wasn't meant... It didn't start out to be a way to not let them get away.
in
It
WWF.
started to be a... It was a challenging match.
In WWF.
King Kong Bundy never ran from Hogan.
Yeah.
Never.
I know that you weren't around wrestling. Like, we're all WWF marks, except I have other things. Steel cage matches were meant to be
What
brutal.
was there? What else was there? Other than your
Starcades,
which I
NWA?
did watch,
Like-
back in 1985, which is when that happened. What else was there?
NWA.
Starcades, WCWs,
Actually, no, it wasn't.
NWAs.
Starcade wasn't.
Starcade was around.
There was
Yeah.
not a Starcade or none of that until after WrestleMania 1.
Okay.
That was after 85.
Look it up. Look it up.
It
right
was
now.
after
Maybe
85.
maybe we'll have a trivia question next week that says what that
What, am I
is.
going to get two right?
1986
Yeah?
is the answer. Yes.
Like I just said.
1986.
Like I just said.
Okay. So
Until WrestleMania, there wasn't none of that.
So even if we take even if I did speak erroneously, which is possible because I got hit in the head a lot and I'm old, so even if I did speak erroneously,
times by
there
me.
have been many cage matches that did not have the escape the cage. They were specifically we talk about Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Those things were. We got to keep this action in the ring, keep other people out from getting inside, keep this action in. Ric Flair can't escape. You got to get it done.
You're absolutely right, but that isn't what I said. I said when it started, it wasn't about keeping somebody from
But
running.
what are you saying when it started?
WWF.
You think
WrestleMania
WWF
2.
WrestleMania 2 was the first ever cage match?
It's the first one you knew about. You're my age.
So,
How'd you hear about this?
buying
Because you
those
couldn't.
pay-per-views
There was
things
only
from
the first
video
pay-per-view
store?
was WrestleMania.
Not the first major show.
But-
Was WrestleMania.
So what was the first cage you saw?
First cage I saw was it was Dusty and Ric Flair. It's first.
So
first cage I
in
saw.
Starcade in '86.
I don't think it was Starcade.
I think it was.
I don't think it was Starcade.
I think it
That was
was.
before that.
Nah.
Okay.
Was
And,
it, was it one
and
of
I'll be the first to say I could be
uh,
wrong too, but it's okay to have these little heated
Was
things
it one of the
there.
baseball stadium shows?
I don't remember seeing anything in the baseball show.
And if it was, he saw it in 92, even though it took place in 85.
But that doesn't mean anything.
It does, though. I'm saying I saw this stuff live, and when I saw it, that's when I saw.
Cage match of any kind took place on June 25th, 1937 in Atlanta, Georgia.
I don't have time for that. Okay? 1937, really? I realized you were alive to see that, but I wasn't. So
You
That's
just
awesome.
said that you're the same age. I know that's wrong, but you just said that, and now you're like, I know you were alive.
Yeah, Eddie.
Rob's about to be wrong.
Okay.
The
why do
very
you guys
first,
take so much pride in that?
the very first
Because you
Starcade,
take so much pride in being correct.
the very first
With no
Starcade
base.
was in 1983.
Flair and who?
Created by Dusty Rhodes. First,
Flair and Rhodes?
Maybe Harley Race.
or not? Yeah,
Maybe I do a trivia section every time.
Harley.
And we keep a tally.
Harley and Flair in a cage.
Did I
Okay.
just not
What
say
year?
Harley Race?
83?
Did I just not say Harley Race?
Yep, 83.
We're at in
Greensboro, North Carolina.
That one example.
Oh,
that one example
That was a
kills
Flair,
every
a
argument
Flair
that you
for a Flair for the gold.
It don't, because you didn't see that.
I did see
You
that.
did not see that when it
I
happened.
did. I didn't see it when it happened. No, I saw it in the video. I used to go down to Gus's Big D video.
I have
Rent every wrestling.
I know
tape
I
there.
know that big I know that dude. He looked like the dude from Wildcats, the guy that hired the coach.
He did. He looked like that guy.
Right.
Not to speak ill of Adele, but yeah, he did. But yeah, he did speak that guy that way.
You just said
funny.
not to speak ill of Adele.
In many ways, Adele has some great hits. I mean, we can't argue with that. Jesus, where the hell are we? This went off the
my
rails.
God.
What is this, 30 minutes? This one's gone off the rails. We were just talking about booking
Zayn McIntyre.
McIntyre versus Zayn and how the cage match is not supposed to be to get make people escape. They're crazy. It's like last thing we saw Zayn in was the fucking thing with Johnny Knoxville, which I thought it was
I
great.
loved it.
Thought it was entertaining.
I love it. Well, like I told you, I used to know of a federation.
Yeah.
It was in Grant County, Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay, and it seemed like a match that was like their headliner.
Yep.
And it would have been great there.
I could have pulled that shit off.
It's really,
I think you did.
I have.
pull that shit off.
it's really funny. We were sitting there watching it, and I was like,
Quite a few, actually.
we were sitting there watching it, and he goes, "Have you ever seen a more EWF match than this match?" And I said, "This couldn't be more EWF if it was refereed by Jason Hardy."
And
Oh,
he
wait.
was there.
It is. It is.
He was left-handing the fuck out of that match.
Awesome. No.
No, he didn't.
This is a disclaimer. We do not hold anything against left-handed people. That's the views of Jack Hammer are
You can
his
watch
and
your
his
mouth.
alone.
Maybe some of us do. Okay, my sister was left-handed, and she was a cunt.
Well,
I love her, but she's a cunt.
fuck left-handed people. You know?
Let's move on. Well, we talked about Sami Zayn versus.
You know, the funny thing is, I would tell her to watch that.
I know. You guys have a habit of calling me an asshole, but you don't realize you need to look inward sometimes.
Fuck you, dude.
So, like, what do you think about crossovers with the entertainment, sports, like wrestling that brings in like the one that always comes to mind to me is, like, we're talking about Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. The one that always comes to mind with me was the first one that I remember where that happened. There was more, but it was Bam Bam versus Lawrence Taylor in WrestleMania 5. Maybe I don't fucking remember.
9,
When,
I believe.
9?
9.
I don't think it was 9 because 9 is
Or
right when
11.
Raw started.
11.
It could be. Bam Bam was wrestling on the. He
Like
wrestled on the-
crossover? Do you mean?
like crossover, bringing that sport
From-
in and making in-person wrestling.
Oh, because
Like-
I knew Lawrence Taylor. I thought you meant cokehead, meth head crossover. That's
that's
where I
more
thought you was
indie.
going with that.
That's more indie stuff than,
Oh, okay.
than anything else. But what do you think about that? I mean, when you think about, like, we've got the situation right now, which is someone that I'm sure you're going to talk about, which is Pat McAfee, who
I don't know who that
was a
is.
sports star. Holy shit! He was a sports star, and now he's coming and he's being a wrestler. He's got 2 matches now, maybe more. Maybe he's doing house shows. I don't know. What do you think about that? Is that a good thing for the business? Bad thing for the business? Good thing for the ratings? Bad thing for the ratings? Is it a draw?
I guess it all depends on how it's presented and what they want the end result to be. Because you look back with like you said, the WrestleMania 2 with the Battle Royal with all the NFL guys.
Yeah.
And then Lawrence and Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a horrible match.
No.
It
There
left
was
some
I
more
think it
to
was
be
one of the
desired,
best
but
matches with a pro athlete and
it was
a
good.
wrestler.
It was good. I think Bad Bunny showed that he could work if the guy wants to give or girl wants to actually put in the work to do it, then sure, why not? It's bound to work. But if you get somebody sloppy that just wants to be on TV and aka the first David Arquette shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I can defend that a little bit.
I mean, I see what they were doing, promoting the movie,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But honestly, David Arquette wasn't
not a
whooping
joke,
shit
and
back
he
then.
takes seriously.
Right.
I got you.
Other than that, I think most of them have worked.
Yeah. The reason I can defend the David Arquette thing is he didn't pin a superstar. He didn't pin, well, they wouldn't be a superstar. It's WCW.
Right.
He didn't pin he pinned Eric Bischoff.
Right.
And after Bischoff had already been hit by somebody that's legit would have put him down.
Right.
Now, so that was not he wasn't culpable in it. It was a horrible idea. He knew, like, have you seen wrestling?
Yep.
That thing? Yep. He knew it was a horrible idea.
yeah.
It's like, me? You want me to get? What are you talking about? So I could defend that a little bit, but it was horrible. It was a bad decision.
He knew. I think he knew he was going to get hell from the boys. Mm-hmm. So and still to this day, that's all they talk about. Oh, well, David Arquette. And then when him and Nick Gage thought, he thought it was a fucking joke. I'm showing him it's not a fucking joke. The
reality is when he got that cut on his neck, he was turning over to actually beat the shit out of Nick Gage.
Yeah.
He was pissed and he's like, motherfucker, and he spun over
yeah.
and that just happened. He was right there and
yeah.
sliced it.
As well he should have.
When he turns around, he's like,
oh shit.
all right.
I'm done.
Okay.
Or he should have went back and fucked him up afterwards. That was fucked up.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it in the ring. I can't.
Now, my take on this.
I've beat the people up in the ring before.
Me too.
My thing with Pat McAfee, and
while.
I know that it's kind of a running joke here that I'm a Pat McAfee nutsucker. I get it.
It's not
because I kind of am. I kind of am.
I don't think it's a joke.
I love the dude. But the only other person that I've ever think that's came into the business that wasn't in the business at all was as believable as Pat, and for two different reasons. Pat, for the reason that he's good. Mm-hmm. He's athletic. I honestly, when I watch wrestling, every time I've seen wrestling since the day that happened, I think of that jump he made. You know what I'm talking about?
Adam Cole jump up to the top rope.
Yeah. That's a fucking leap that most guys can't take.
Right.
Okay. Now, the only other guy that I think has done better was, I think his name was Tiny.
Tiny Lester?
No, Zeus.
Yeah, Tiny Lester.
Is that his name?
Yeah. Yep.
He came in. He was perfect.
He's a big dude.
Because he's a big fucking strong dude, and no matter what you swat at him, it's going to hurt if he hits you.
Yep.
Yeah, and what Pat's doing is very believable. Very believable. You keep doing it that way, then I think it'll work just fine. And to your point, what are they doing with him? Does he have dark matter? I would like to hope they do, but at the same time, I almost hope they don't. Mm-hmm. Because he's good at what he does.
Overexpose him.
He's good at what he does, and he's got so much shit happening that we know that wrestling fans don't. He's a busy dude, so there might not even be room for anything else. But they also did that. They did it well to where he got the win, and he also knocked off the first name of what's his name?
Austin Theory. Yes.
Yeah, now it's just Theory.
So I'm just going to say this now that I'm no longer Hank Calhoun. I'm just Calhoun.
Calhoun.
You met Pat.
Calhoun. I'm just Calhoun.
He smack it off of you?
No, I just they're taking everybody else's.
Yeah, I think
so
Pat's
might as well
done
take mine too.
I really do. I mean, and not only that, but he's 100%. He don't sell the business nowhere. He don't give it away. He's 100%. Even when he does his show, which is a legit show, right. He don't give the business away at all. I like that.
That has something to do with this trainer. I'm 100% sure. Let's just be honest. Kayfabe is dead, but we don't have to dance on his fucking grave. We can keep a little bit of it.
We can try. We can at least try.
Believability. The kayfabe aspect of it. these million or so fans that tune in every week to all of these wrestling programs, which I firmly believe that they're the ones that the ratings for this show are the ratings for that show. They're the ratings for that show, both brands. These guys don't give a shit about kayfabe. They don't.
But a lot of times kayfabe ain't what they think kayfabe is.
Right.
Kayfabe is the fact that you could not do what we did.
No.
You couldn't take the shit we took, and even though it wasn't a real fight, you couldn't, as a general person out here, handle what we could handle. You absolutely could not.
I'm telling you, I've come out of matches feeling worse than in being in a fucking fight.
Me too. 100%.
You're not going to break your back and then get up and wrestle next
And
week.
we're volunteering to do it.
Yeah.
It don't just happen on a whim. It ain't on adrenaline. It's like we signed up for it.
You're not gonna crush your neck into some dude's navel twice,
Right.
And then get up and continue to wrestle for 9 more years. You're not gonna have a dude fall down and land directly on your foot.
Hit you over the head with VCRs.
Yeah,
Fucking kendo sticks.
Get
Fucking
knocked unconscious. It's not gonna happen. But
that's why I hate that F word so bad.
yeah, to finish.
And did you notice? I know you're trying to wrap this up, but did you notice on that episode of Young Rock when they mentioned that and he said the F word? Hated it.
Yeah.
You don't say that because fake is not how it is. Is it choreographed? Yes.
Yep.
Fake is the worst word to ever say when it comes to professional wrestling.
My what I always used to tell people was I am a glorified stuntman / actor.
That's a good way to put it.
Because I'm taking actual bumps and a stuntman is hitting
I
a
always
fucking.
had to tell them, do you watch TV and say, oh, that's fake? Because no, you don't. You watch TV and go, oh my fucking God.
Right.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But the only difference is it really does hurt.
35-mile-an-hour car crash every time you hit the mat.
So to finish the statement that I was making on kayfabe being dead but not, we shouldn't dance on his grave, is those million people that are dancing between all of these different things that you've got that don't care about kayfabe. You're catering to them. So all the people that do care about it, when they tune in and they see you do some stupid shit that makes no sense, they're like, and then they're fucking gone. Well, those people are the 8 million that you're missing from 90s wrestling.
Right.
Yep.
Those people are hey, this used to be good. I looked and saw a dude grab another guy by the nostril and flip him out and the other guy didn't even, you can tell he just went with it. That's what you're missing. That's where it goes. That kayfabe aspect of
And why watch if you can't, even for a second, make yourself believe this is what's really happening?
The 5'4" guy who's an acrobat that's jumping on a dude, like the fucking Matt Cardona thing when the 11-year-old girl got Hurricane Ron in him. Was that good for that crowd? Fucking absolutely. They loved it. Was it good for wrestling? Absolutely fucking not. That's horrible. Don't do that. Stop doing that. If somebody says
stop doing that fucking move.
Yeah. Stop doing a Hurricane Run. Stop doing the fucking Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah, stop doing stuff
that
that ain't believable.
You're getting a move over. You're getting a little.
And a lot of times these moves, if they really did them, would kill a person.
Right. Yeah.
So if you got to find that medium to where it could hurt somebody, but it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't kill them.
Right.
And fucking Hurricane fucking Ron. Have you ever taken a bump for Hurricane Rana?
Yep.
I'm proud to say I never did.
I have. Many a times.
I would have if I had let the guy do it. When I get those little guys in there, my standard go-to, they're like, how are we going to do this? It's like, you don't have to worry about it.
Your ankles ain't flipping me the fuck over.
Yeah, you're not going to have to worry about it. You're not going to be standing up.
Dumb move.
Because I want to make you look like a fucking king when you beat me.
Oh, I thought about a finisher, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Because you gave me all my finishers.
Right.
Except for the Vader bomb.
Right.
I turned into the hammer bomb, which was kind of...
Yeah, that was good.
I changed that a little. But... The finisher was, you know how Hogan would always do the atomic drop to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you go from the atomic drop, but you don't do it. You get them to this point, they flatten out, a reverse what you taught me for my whatever I did.
Okay. Yeah. You had body slam,
breaker,
rolled around,
yes,
drop it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works pretty good. Yeah. Mine is a little.
I was gonna do that.
Mine is a little
but then
bit
I know
different
shit.
than that. Mine's close. Mine was like a rock bottom, but I put you've seen Bobby Lashley do it before.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the only problem with that.
You don't need any more fucking finishers.
I did it. That's my
Yeah,
thing. I did it to you
yeah.
the last show we worked together.
Yep.
Really?
He did it to me
now,
sometimes.
I'm
It's the one
sorry.
that fucked my back up.
I disregarded you.
It's
because
like
I
rock
was-
bottom. Put your arm over this way. Got you like rock bottom. Then I grab
Lift
you this
up,
way.
straight up,
lift straight up.
flat
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that move.
Yeah.
It's so easy to take.
The only problem with it is every once in a while when people get scared, they don't want to take the face bump. They'll put their hands down.
Yeah.
Well, my head's right here behind their arm, so they land
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this.
I trusted you 100%.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I love
Never a
that
problem
move.
taking a
I
move
love
from
that
that.
one more than I did the swinging one.
Yeah.
Only thing I ever questioned Bill on was the neck spot when we did the neck break
Oh yeah,
with the chair. Yeah. It turns out when we did the whole neck spot at ICW, that's the exact spot
I
we
don't
did.
know that I ever questioned him.
It's the Pillman thing.
Yeah.
Where they put. I think
Just a
they
little
did
pressure.
it to Pillman.
I don't think I ever told him no about anything. Did
That
I?
was the only thing I was iffy about.
There's not a lot of people that said no to anything I wanted to do.
No.
People are afraid of you.
Well,
I was never afraid, and he knew that, but I
it
love
was
that dude. I
But
trusted him more than
generally,
anything.
it makes fucking sense.
Yep.
That was the consensus.
I trusted him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I trusted him.
100%. Because he never gave me any indication that he was going to hurt me.
You
To this
the only
day, I
fuck yeah,
trust
let's do
him.
it.
Even
The
though I know
only
he
thing
might hurt
that-
my feelings, he ain't hurt nothing else.
the only thing that I can remember people having pause over was the ballroom blitz.
Yes. Yes.
Because it looks scary when a 330-pound dude is running to drop kick you in the nuts when you're in the corner and you got nowhere to go.
I have a small
Yeah.
dick,
Scary.
dude. I didn't care.
Hammer that nail. I don't give a shit. That's awesome.
He said, make it more of an innie.
All right, so I'm cutting the rest of this shit out. We'll do this. We'll do these other things. some
I'm
other time.
definitely ending it on that.
We got 53 minutes. Well, it's not gonna be that. I'm gonna cut it out. I gotta cut a
That
lot
was a
of
good
out.
show, dude.
All the
I
stuff
think we
about
had
Hammer
fun.
being right. I gotta cut that out.
Of course. I bet you leave the shit about me being wrong.
So we're gonna do a trivia question now. Sheila can't.
Oh yeah, we definitely hear that.
Sheila's not going to be able to do any of this. She didn't watch wrestling. Hasn't watched wrestling until recently. Even when she was with me, I wrestled for 20 fucking years. She wasn't watching actual wrestling. She was just if it was trivia about us, she'd probably get it.
I did.
I can't be in it.
She was
'cause I know the
videotaping
answer.
a lot.
Yeah, I did videotape
Yeah.
almost every match.
Yeah. Almost everything.
All of our matches.
I obviously can't be in it because I know the answer, and so I'm going to look into doing something that she can just pick up and read, like something like that.
So you
we can
know,
do
if you
these.
get this right before me, I'm smacking you.
All right, so for this one, we're going to go back 28 years.
Good old days.
For all those people, for when you were saying modern wrestling, not going to get it. We're going to go back 28 years. WrestleMania 10. Randy Savage had a match. WrestleMania 10. Who was that match against?
I'm out, dude. I have no idea.
March 20th, 1993. Randy Savage had a match. Who was that match with? It was a go-home match. It was the last match they had. It was the last match of the feud.
Loser retires?
You want a hint?
At the time.
You want a hint? I'll tell you the match stipulation as a hint.
Got two names floating in my head.
WrestleMania 10. Match stipulation was Falls Count Anywhere.
Oh, easy.
Okay?
Crush.
Nailed it. Crush, you got it.
I was
There it
not
is.
watching wrestling at all
Yeah,
then.
WrestleMania 10 Crush. That was the best.
You also got to think Hogan was doing fucking
Yeah.
TV at the time.
Yeah. Well,
No, he just went to WWE. No, yeah, he was doing TV. He was doing Thunder in Paradise.
yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
just
that's
started
why I
doing
wasn't
it.
watching because
that would have been pretty close.
I'm a
yeah.
homer. That's who I am.
Cool.
Fuck you and your question, okay?
What?
You know me
got it
better
wrong?
than anybody knows me. You should have tailored it to me at least a little bit.
Tailored it to you.
Yes, that's what I said.
Is this the conversation about will you bail me out of jail again? Is that what's going on?
Oh no, I got you on that one. I fucking got you on that one.
Because I said I will say
He
to
said
you,
absolutely not. I said even if you knew I did nothing wrong, I still wouldn't. Like fuck you.
you didn't hear you kept going on that way, and I said in order to end this conversation, I'm going to say yes, I would, but no, that I'm not going to.
Yes, I did hear that. and I don't even know what to think about you.
What'd she do?
She just went like,
You won't
yeah, I wouldn't let him bail you out.
He won't bail me out either.
No.
Yes,
He doesn't bail people out
Absolutely
of jail.
not. I
That's what
wouldn't.
you said to me that night.
What night?
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn this shit off. I don't go to jail. I've never been. Never mind.
All right. Well, let's just wrap it up then. We had the trivia question. I like the trivia question. We're going to keep the trivia
I
question.
don't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
I wasn't watching. Fuck you when you look at him.
There
like,
was
nah.
there was
I
only
got
two
you, bro.
there was
I
only
didn't
two
know
names
you was
floating
watching.
around.
Okay.
The other one was Warrior. I was gonna.
I saw you talking. I heard nothing you just said.
I'm just saying. It was either warrior or crush. That's where my answer.
It's so crazy that we started off this day by people telling me that I'm not humble, and then all of a sudden they're like, I don't acknowledge that I did not get that trivia question because it was biased against me for something that you should have known but you didn't.
No, I shouldn't have known because I wasn't watching.
I didn't know he knew or didn't know. I just said this is a trivia question that I found within 20 minutes of thinking I was a trivia question. All right, with that, we're going to take off.
It was really good to be with you guys again.
Until next time.
And we got to do the hammer down thing. Are you going to say something?
Oh, by the way, I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate
the hammer down last week. We did that.
Let you know I did watch.
Okay, cool.
And I did like.
Cool.
But I did appreciate that. And she's like, well, I guess we can go hammer down.
All right.
She's like, I don't give a fuck, but we might as well say something.
Do something.
Might as well do it.
Acknowledge that he lives. Let's go. So like and subscribe, right? The dog is ready for this to be over.
Why are you at my nuts doing that? That's scary.
Like and subscribe because it helps us out. Go into your grandma's room, turn this on, let it go, let it run all the way through, even though you can't stand us talking. If you're listening on the audio version, know that you can go to YouTube and see the video version, which will probably have some extra stuff sooner or later once I stop being lazy. And we really appreciate you staying in this long. Maybe I'll look for somebody who can have some AEW input at one point. Sheila's not going to be that person because she falls asleep at 8 o'clock.
He just said he's trying to replace me, is what just happened.
Now. I've been watching a little bit.
You guys see what's happened during this podcast. You've seen what's happened. There's a transition happening.
I've been watching a little bit of the AEW. Yeah. I haven't watched any of the Dynamite or
Rampage.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of the Dark.
Yeah, let them tell you what it is so that you can sound like you know what you're talking about.
Oh, and I tagged you in it earlier on Twitter. Jake Oman's actually wrestling tomorrow.
He don't care about Jake Oman. He probably don't know who he is.
I do know who Jake Oman is.
But you don't care.
We wrestled with him.
We did a few times.
Yeah. I'm just saying he's going to be on there.
I know. I'm just bitter right now. Because I know that
because you lost.
And you
lost.
I'm having a problem with it right now.
And he lost. He lost. He didn't get the trivia question.
I did lose. It's
right. Okay.
So
just take the L. Take the L,
so
Rob.
We got to do Jeopardy. We got to do some kind of wrestling trivia that you can read, that I can participate. I'm horrible with memories and shit like that.
So you're horrible with friendship.
All right, I'll accept that. You guys have a night. You guys have a nice time.
Hey, it's good talking to you guys again.
Yeah, you're not ready to do it. Say it.
Hammer down.
There you go. See ya.